Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and as always, as one of the leaders of the pack, I am scouring the countryside looking for tips, techniques, best practices that you could use in your business. And today, I've got a question for you. Are you frustrated because employees are quitting your business, quitting you, leaving? Valued players that are helping you with your business. You finally found the right person for a position that you needed to fill, a key player on your team. Then they leave. Life strikes. It could be a family issue. You may have to move out of state to take care of an aging parent, or who knows? Maybe they just got a better offer. All right, I got a question for you. You ready? Can I be direct? How long did you expect them to work for you? Do you expect an employee to be there, for life, for their entire career? How long do you expect an employee to be on board when you bring someone onto your team? And even more importantly, why should they stay? Why would they want to be a member of your team? How is that beneficial to them? How does that help them move forward in their life? And if you don't think that's a relevant question, I don't know what to tell you. I'd be willing to guess that you're having a problem hiring high quality people. And the ones that do stay, you really didn't want to have around anyway. Because you need to understand, you already know, back up a step. Look at what happened the last 2 years. You already know there's a lot of chaos around you as a business leader, as an entrepreneur. That's just part of this goes with the territory. You need to be comfortable with that. Now, why is it that you're frustrated with employees leaving? Is it because it upsets your business? Is it because it's hard to find someone to fill that position? Is it because of all the time and training and development you invested into that individual? Again, how long do you expect someone to stay with your company when you bring them onto your team? And why should they do that? The hard truth is when someone comes onto your team, and this applies to employees, this applies to suppliers, outside contracting services that you use your business, and it applies to your customers too. The whole reason that you're working together is because it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And guess what? It's only going to be mutually beneficial for a season, not forever. And how long do you intend to keep your company open? So say you hire a 25-year-old person that has a lot of talent. They've got skill, and especially say they're like a social media expert, right? Start there. How long do you expect them to stay with your company? 40 years? 45 years? By the time they retire, the retirement age will be 70 plus. So you expect them to work for you for 45 years? Will you be working for you for 45 years? Will your business be around in 45 years? How long is it mutually beneficial for that person to be on your team? Do you think about that before you bring them on? Do you talk about why it's mutually beneficial? How it helps them get to where they want to go in life? Do you even know where they are trying to get to in life, what their goals and objectives are, so that you can see how that aligns, so that you can see do you understand what their values are, and have clarity on how well that aligns with your values, your company's values. Look, the reality is people are only going to be on your team for a season, maybe a short season, maybe a long season. It's your job. And yes, I'm pointing a finger at you. It's your job, entrepreneur. It's your job as a business owner to make sure they understand how that benefits them, not just the paycheck, not just having a job, not just the benefits, but the larger picture in their life. How does that help them on their life's journey? And hopefully you really care about that, because the more that you do, the more depth there will be to the relationships you have with the people that are on your team, with your suppliers, with your customers, and the longer those relationships will last. Now, so you need to communicate that. You also need to look for ways to extend that season. What are things that you can add in that into the work experience. Now, part of that's promotion, development opportunities, helping them develop, coaching and mentoring them, educational opportunities. Same for, it's just like marketing a product or a service, right? You're always looking for ways to expand that so you can expand the season that your customer is with you. Same thing for people that are on your team or employees. Expand the season for them to be with you and be realistic about how long they're going to be there, how long it's healthy for you to have them on your team, for them and for you and for the company. Because as your company grows, you may need to replace that person with someone that has a different skill set. When you go from 1 to 5 employee, just you, right, as you're getting started and you're doing everything because you have to, and then you get some revenue and you start to outsource some of the things that you're not that good at or that you don't enjoy doing, that aren't really where you need to focus to keep your business running. As you're bringing people onto your team, now you've got 5 employees. When you go from 5 to 15 to 35 to 55 employees, those are big changes. And who are the right people, right skill set to have for different roles? That may be running sales. Perhaps you need someone to really formally manage sales and focus on sales growth. Or perhaps it's somebody working on operations or the software and accounting. Whatever it may be, right? There's the law of the lid. Look up John Maxwell if you're not familiar with that. Law of the lid. Different people have different skills. Someone that is brilliant at running a 35-person company may not be the right person to run a 200-person company or a 2,000-person company. So what is that season for that person? How much runway do they have, as Jack Welch used to famously say when he was CEO of General Electric? How far do they have, how far can they expand? Can they grow? And on that path, as they're growing, how long does that continue to align with your company and make it mutually beneficial for both of you? Another thing that this drives is having a good onboarding process so that as people leave and people arrive, if someone leaves and you have someone that's taken over that role in your company, that you can bring them on up to speed in a best practices way, because it's expensive. It takes time. The longer it takes, the more chaotic that process is, the less solid information they get. So they understand how you operate, why you do it that way, what the value system is in the company. The longer it's going to take for that to be a mutually beneficial relationship between you and them, for them and for you. And if it's too chaotic, they may not stick around. I did some work when I was still working as an employee in corporate world, took on a job where I was the 7th person in 5 years or 5th person in 7 years. Forget which. You get the picture, right? There are a lot of people burning and churning through that role in that company. And it was a change-oriented position. It was creating and installing a Six Sigma program, operational excellence at that company. I knew that going in. I also knew that the company was struggling. So I went in with open eyes and understood that it was going to be not the best of work environments, because you don't have people switching jobs that fast in a position like that if the company is embracing the changes that it needs to make. And stayed with that for a couple of years and had some successes, learned a lot as well. And the vice president of operations there, who had an interesting relationship with, we can talk about that more later, that's a better story for a different time, was really angry when I left the company. And I was like, how long do you think it was going to stay? You've gone as far as the company is willing to go, as far as he was explicitly willing to go. He'd said, this is all, put a boundary up and said, this is all we're going to do. It's like, okay, I need to move on, because now that relationship was no longer mutually beneficial. I couldn't provide value to them because of the decisions that they were making on what they were going to do, what they weren't going to do, the direction they were headed. And I looked at where I was crafting my career direction, my career path, and going, you know what? Those two no longer align. Time to move on. Even though we'd made a fair amount of progress, it ended up being not a good outgoing conversation, which brings me to my next point. You need to have a good out brief, out. So you have onboarding, so you have to call it outboarding. For now, we'll use that phrase. Right? But when someone's leaving, what's the outbrief process? What's the outboarding process that you have in order to get feedback from them, maintain a good relationship? Because that may bear fruit somehow down the road. May want them to come back at some point when they get some more experience under their belt. When I worked for Hughes Aircraft, one of the executives there told me, you know what? We like to see people move around the industry some. We feel it rounds out their background. They're getting relevant experience in other companies. So it allows bringing good ideas back into the company as well, and helps that person develop in ways that they couldn't if they stayed within the same environment, the same company culture for the entirety of their career. Said, but too much motion, too much moving around, well, then we become concerned. Now, today it's more common to move where work is more project based, and that's a better topic for another time as well. Still, the point is good outboarding process, for lack of a better term. I'm not an HR professional. So you need to be good at those things, right? Finding the right person, making it clear why it's a good opportunity for them and for the company, how that aligns with, including and based on how that aligns with their career goals and values, and how far you see that going. You need to look for ways to expand that so the season that employee is with you is extended. So what you're doing is extending the season that the season representing the time that is mutually beneficial relationship between the person that's on your team and for the company. To extend that time to make it longer. Have a good onboarding process. So when someone comes on board, they're up to speed faster. It's a better welcome. They feel part of the team. They're more productive faster, and they can apply their talent to the team, which is why you brought them on. A solid outboarding process so that when people leave, it can be amicable. You have a good outbrief. It's a great opportunity to pick up information that they, experiences, perceptions, feedback on how the company, your company could be better on their way out the door that they wouldn't have perhaps shared while they were still on the team. And you need to network so that you have the opportunity to find high quality team members. The more you network with peers, the more word gets around, right, within an industry. And even when you're involved in other outside industries, you get more good ideas to apply to your company. So food for thought. If you're frustrated because employees are leaving, don't be. Woody, how are you? I ask. So here, this is great. Woody, thank you for being part of the conversation. I ask what they think a big next step for them is, or how to implement what you're doing. I love that. Thank you so much for that insight. See, Woody Blackman is someone you need to know because he is a consummate professional, consummate real estate professional, but also an entrepreneur. He's somebody that brought one of the major real estate agencies into Los Angeles County. He was the first one to start and build up. Was a great leader in that system and building agencies and also mentoring other realtors, and now helps entrepreneurs in their path. So Woody, thank you so much for being part of this. And that's a great note to end it on. I'm Wolf. This is Wolf's Watch. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Oh, here we go. And right. Woody ran Keller Williams for three offices for 20 years. Right. Very high performer. Someone you need to know, a leader, not just in his industry, but amongst entrepreneurs. Woody, again, thanks for being with us, my friend. Good to hear from you, brother. Look forward to seeing you face to face, hopefully in the near future. And as for you, thanks for watching this, being part of Wolf's Watch. Drop your questions and comments in. We keep track of them if you're watching this on replay, and be part of the conversation. This is 21st Century Television, live and interactive. This has been Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and I will see you on the trail.